Ji and Jungkook stood by the edge of the classroom, clutching his sketchbook like it was his only shield. It was already late evening, the last rays of the sun bleeding through the tall windows of the university art building, casting long shadows across the floor. He wasn't waiting for anyone. At least, that's what he told himself. But his eyes drifted again, to the back row. Kim Taehyung. The boy who used to wait for him after class with strawberry milk and that gummy smile. The boy who used to drag him by the wrist to rooftops just to watch sunsets. The boy who used to whisper, "You're the only one who understands me, Jungkook." Now Taehyung didn't even look at him. Jungkook had learned how to time his exits. He'd wait for Taehyung to leave first, so he wouldn't have to endure that hollow feeling when their shoulders brushed and Taehyung didn't flinch, because he didn't even notice him anymore. But today, he'd forgotten his book. He hesitated outside the library's private wing. It was past 11:30 p.m. The lights were dim. Most students were gone. The silence felt thick, heavy. He pushed the door open, and his heart dropped. Taehyung was there, alone, leaning against one of the long wooden tables, a single desk lamp glowing beside him. His eyes lifted slowly, gaze dark and unreadable. "You came," Jungkook blinked. "I just came to return the book." Taehyung stepped forward. Each step felt too loud in the quiet space. That's all. His voice was lower than Jungkook remembered. Smooth, but sharp. "You're always looking at me in class. I thought you wanted more than a book." Jungkook's mouth parted. "I wasn't." "You weren't." Taehyung's eyes flickered. "You weren't looking at me like you still remember what we used to be? Like you still wait for me to come back." Jungkook felt something crack inside. "You left me." Silence. "I didn't leave you," Taehyung said after a moment, voice low and bitter. "I was forced to." Jungkook took a shaky breath. "Then why act like I don't exist now? Why pretend I'm nothing to you?" Taehyung's jaw clenched. He crossed the room in 2 strides before Jungkook could step back. His hand gripped Jungkook's wrist, not harsh, but not gentle either. "You think it's easy? Seeing you every day. Watching you smile at others. Pretending I don't want to break their hands for touching you." Jungkook's breath caught. "Then why?" But he didn't finish. Because Taehyung pulled him forward, roughly, desperately, and kissed him. It wasn't soft. It was years of pain. Of holding back. Of burning jealousy and sleepless nights. Of dreams left unfinished. Jungkook froze, then slowly melted, fingers twisting into Taehyung's shirt as his lips moved in sync with the one person he hated that he still loved. Taehyung pulled back, breath ragged. "You don't know how hard it's been. Every midnight, I think about you. I wait for you to come back. But you never did." Jungkook's voice broke. "You never gave me a chance." Taehyung's forehead rested against his. "Then let me fix it. Starting now." And in that moment, under the dim light of an empty library, Jungkook realized Taehyung hadn't forgotten him. He'd just been trying to survive without him. Ended, but the ache lingered. Jungkook stood frozen under the dim library lights, chest heaving, lips swollen, and heart completely exposed. Taehyung was still close, his hand curled loosely around Jungkook's wrist, his thumb brushing soft, ghost-like circles against his skin, as if afraid Jungkook might vanish. It was Jungkook who spoke first, his voice a whisper, trembling like wet paper. "Why now?" Taehyung didn't answer at first. He just looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time in years. as if trying to remember every version of Jungkook he had tried to forget. Then he said it, like it hurt to say, because I couldn't take it anymore. Jungkook's throat clenched. Take what, seeing you with others? Seeing you smile like you'd finally moved on. Pretending like I didn't exist when every part of me, every damn part, wants to drag you away from all of them and keep you hidden somewhere only I know. His voice cracked, low and guttural. Do you know how long I've been angry? He continued. Not at you. At the world. At our families. At myself. I hated pretending I didn't know you. That we didn't have history. That I didn't. He stopped. That I didn't still love you. But the words went unsaid. Jungkook's fingers curled tighter around Taehyung's shirt. You hurt me, I know. Taehyung's voice was soft now, painfully sincere. I thought I was protecting you. But maybe I was just protecting myself. A silence settled between them. It wasn't empty, it was heavy. Full of things never spoken, moments stolen by time, and wounds that had barely started to scab over. Why did you kiss me? Jungkook asked. If you're going to ignore me again tomorrow, don't do this. Don't be cruel, Taehyung. That broke something in him. Taehyung exhaled slowly, his head lowering until his lips were brushing just beside Jungkook's ear. His voice dropped, rough and unsteady. I won't ignore you again. I can't. Not after this. Jungkook's heart thundered. He hated how much he wanted to believe that. I mean it, Taehyung said, almost desperate now. Even if I have to deal with my father, with the board, with everything, I'll stop pretending. I just need you to give me time. I need you to trust me again. Jungkook looked at him for a long, breathless moment. Then he whispered, take me home. Taehyung blinked. Not because I forgive you yet, Jungkook said quietly. But because I still want to know what it feels like to be yours again. Even just for one night. A fire lit in Taehyung's eyes, and he didn't hesitate. He took Jungkook's hand and led him out of the library. The door had barely closed before Taehyung pressed Jungkook against it. His mouth found Jungkook's again, more urgent this time, like he'd been starved. His hands roamed under Jungkook's coat, gripping his waist, pulling him closer. Jungkook gasped into the kiss, fists tangled in Taehyung's collar as he gave in to the sensation, the months of tension, the ache of longing, the need to feel something real again. They didn't speak as they stumbled into the bedroom. Taehyung handled him carefully but with a quiet desperation. Jungkook felt the difference. This wasn't just lust, it was possession. Affection buried under years of restraint. Taehyung kissed every scar he'd left behind. Whispered Jungkook like a prayer, like an apology. And when he was finally disentangled beneath moonlight, Jungkook realized something that made his chest tighten. He never stopped loving Taehyung. He just forgot what it felt like to be loved back. And light poured through the sheer curtains, casting soft golden rays across tangled sheets and bare skin. Jungkook woke up slowly. The room smelled like Taehyung, like cedar wood and warmth. His body ached in quiet, pleasant ways, but his heart thudded with a strange tightness. Last night felt like a dream. Except Taehyung was real, lying beside him. His arm was draped across Jungkook's waist, their legs still tangled beneath the duvet. He looked peaceful like this, unguarded, human. Not the cold, sharp-edged air everyone knew on campus. Jungkook traced his fingers softly along Taehyung's chest, and for a moment, let himself imagine what it would be like if things were different. If mornings like this were normal. If they could walk across campus holding hands. If Taehyung didn't have a legacy to protect and Jungkook didn't have scars from being left behind. But that fragile illusion shattered the moment Taehyung's phone began to buzz. He stirred, groaning faintly, and reached for it. Jungkook watched him. Watched the way his face hardened the second he saw the caller ID. Chairman Kim, his father. Taehyung sat up quickly, running a hand through his messy hair. The warmth from his body vanished, replaced by something cold and practiced. "Hyung," he answered, voice suddenly firm. "No, I'm not at the dorms. I'm handling it. The investors don't need to know anything personal. Yes, I'll be there by 10, Jungkook swallowed. He recognized that voice. That version of Taehyung, the one who didn't flinch, didn't soften, didn't feel. Taehyung ended the call and stared at the phone for a long moment before slowly turning to Jungkook. The air between them shifted. "We should get dressed, just like that." No kiss. No smile. No good morning. Jungkook sat up too, pulling the sheets around himself as his heart thudded dully. "Right." Taehyung glanced at him, and for the briefest second, guilt flashed in his eyes. "Jungkook, you don't have to say anything," Jungkook cut in, voice tight. "I knew what this was." "No, you didn't," Taehyung said quickly, moving closer. Last night wasn't just what Jungkook asked, looking up at him. A mistake? A relapse? A fantasy? Taehyung clenched his fists. "Don't say that." Jungkook stood, the sheet falling from his shoulders. "Then tell me what it was, Taehyung. Because it sure as hell doesn't feel like it meant anything to you in the daylight." Taehyung stepped forward, grabbing his arm. "It meant everything to me." "Then why do you look like you regretted silence?" Taehyung let go. Jungkook's throat tightened. He gathered his clothes silently, his hands shaking slightly. "I should go." Taehyung didn't stop him. Jungkook kept his head down as he crossed the quad, ignoring the curious glances from others. He felt raw. Hollow. He kept replaying last night in his mind. The way Taehyung touched him like he was the only thing that mattered. The way his voice shook when he whispered his name. And now? It felt like all of it had been erased the moment the sun came up. As he neared the arts building, a voice stopped him. "Hey. Jian." "Jungkook, right?" He turned. A tall guy stood in front of him, handsome, dressed in designer clothes, with sharp features and confident eyes. "I'm Min-ji," the guy said, offering a crooked smile. "Finance major. I've seen you around with the sketch pad. You're kind of hard to miss." Jungkook blinked. "Okay, sorry. That came off weird." Min-ji laughed. "I'm just saying, you have a vibe. And I've been trying to build my portfolio with creative people. Want to grab coffee sometime? Talk collaboration, or just talk?" Jungkook hesitated. Was he really being asked out? But before he could answer, "Jungkook," the voice came from behind. Cold. Sharp. Possessive. He turned and saw Taehyung. Expression unreadable. Jaw clenched. Eyes fixed on Min-ji like he was 1 second away from lunging. Min-ji raised an eyebrow. "Friend of yours?" Jungkook looked between the two of them. Then, very calmly, he smiled, just enough to sting. "No," he said quietly. "Just someone I used to know," and he walked away.